Hello, everybody, and welcome to PlanetFPL Fan TV, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. I thought I'd change it up, James. My name's Suj.
This is Planet FPL. I'm not having that, mate.
Why can't we be called PlanetFPL Fan TV?
We did all that rubbish this morning.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Yeah, do listen back to the People's Poll where we had a nice chat about fan TV stations. Can you imagine if one day some of our fans launched PlanetFPL Fan TV and started chatting shit about our show? Now, that would be weird.
Wouldn't we need to be on it?
No, but they'd be talking about us. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Arsenal Fan TV talking about the Arsenal team. It'd be PlanetFPL Fan TV talking about us. Can you imagine? Troops and DT going hard on us. Don't know. Fucking told me it's Captain Kane.
Get brutalised.
This is not PlanetFPL Fan TV. This is regular PlanetFPL. It's Monday.
Talking of brutalised, let's talk about my game week, shall we?
It's Monday. We haven't had the game of the week yet, which is Monday Night Football, West Ham against Arsenal. That is in about 4 hours from now, give or take, which I'm going to. So we're recording nice and early before the end of the game week. We obviously know that the West Ham ownership in FPL is next to nothing. I'd be surprised if there's even a single player.
The only ownership over
digits.
2% tonight that could play are 3 Arsenal players. Aubameyang's about 17% ownership. I think Guendouzi 7%.
20.7 right now, he's saying.
Yeah, live teams.
Okay, live.
Guendouzi about 7% and Leno's about 2% live ownership.
So
those are the only ones that are seriously going to... Well, if Winston Reid suddenly makes a comeback, and I think his live ownership's about 5% because he's 3.9, isn't he?
Yeah. But then he'll be on the bench for most people, won't he, really? So having said that, there might be a few players coming in off the bench this week.
Oh, dear.
Let's talk about it.
Can we talk about my team first?
Let's talk about it. So you're not going to get into the cup.
Yeah, the FPL Cup starts in next game week. I won't be in it.
Yeah, I was curious because a lot of people were tweeting about the cup. I didn't realise it was done on your score within that game week. I always thought it was the top 4 million players or whatever.
It really probably should be the top players before that game week starts, but I'm not going to grumble about it. Look, only one player can win that.
Do you know when I looked at it and read it, I really this is really bad as a West Ham fan. I was like, oh well, I'm going to be in another cup competition that I'm never going to win, just like my team.
He's saving me a defeat in the semi-final, isn't it? I should be grateful. Right, my game week. I need to get into it.
Yes.
So for those who are not following my Twitter account and don't know what I decided to do, very late Friday night, I decided to captain Jesus over Jamie Vardy as the big mistake of the week. The second big mistake was not to remove Benjamin Mendy out of my squad and replace him with Martin Kelly. That has been amended already. That transfer was made last night before Martin Kelly's price went up to 4.3. Benjamin Mendy, you arsehole, get that out of my team, honestly. Right. So, I mean, that in itself could have given me like a good sort of 15-point swing, which still would have given me an awful game week score because I've finished on 32 for the week. A massive 1 point from Tom Heaton. A massive 1 point from Trent Alexander-Arnold with a clean sheet, but it doesn't matter because he only played like 50-odd minutes. 2 points from Lundstrom, 2 points from Chilwell. Clean sheet from Robertson.
Yes.
Mane.
No show. You didn't have anyone to come in off the bench yet?
Yeah. Kevin, I'll get on to them.
Okay.
Kevin De Bruyne, 1 pointer. Wilfried Zaha, 2 pointer. Off the bench to replace Mendy and Mane had a whole 3 points from IU and Cantwell. Oh, do you know what? Forgot about that. So actually, 35. Yeah. What a shit show.
Tell me about it.
I've dropped about 300,000 places to 628k, which will probably get worse after tonight still.
That's quite a brutal drop.
I think I'll finish probably about 670k, I'd say, after tonight with the subs on that.
If it makes you feel any better in any way, shape or form, after game week 15, I dropped 430,000 places. This week, I made up 370 of them in one go so far. So it doesn't take much. I'm 80% of the points of my rank drop I made back in 1 week straight away. But it wouldn't surprise me if now our ranks are the closest they've been for a long time. Yeah, well,
I'm going to go back to basically where I was in game week 9.
Yeah.
So look, it is what it is. That I think that the massive mistake I made look, obviously not captain. I went for a different route than I. Like, if Jesus had scored a couple and Vardy had blanked, I would have been laughing and looking at a really nice rise. I took the gamble. I thought it was the right week for it. What the mistake I made in hindsight is going away from something too templatey to something too differential in an attacking sense. With Zaha had really been my punt.
Yeah.
And it was fine to add Jesus to it for those 3 fixtures, I believe. It wasn't necessary to go and captain him because any return still would have been a great differential return in hindsight. And I should have just played the safe game here.
You got double screwed here as well, because we talked about it on our show. There was probably a 20-25% chance Mane was going to get dropped. We did mention it, and I did think, based on what happened midweek, it was Mane's turn, little inkling inside, and everybody that captained Mane VC'd Jamie Vardy said that was a real double kicker for you as well, where they had that VC come in and save them. This was my third highest game week rank of the season so far.
Good, well done.
I had a 476k in 13, 593k in game week 1, and this was 706k. So it's only the third time all season I've been in the top million for any individual game week. And truth be told, my points were spread out quite well in the end. I'm done now. I've got no one playing in tonight's game. Nothing at the back, but I mean, Edison 2-pointer, Lundstrom 2-pointer, and Trent a 1-pointer like you and like a lot of people, and the Robertson clean sheet. Maddison popped up with 2 assists and a bonus point, so that was a nice 9-pointer. He has been just that quiet, steady Eddie for so many game weeks in my team. I just don't see how I can sell him. It's every other week he picks up a return on average, if not 2 out of 3. He's become so much more consistent from an FPL returns point of view than he was historically.
5 more points now in FPL than Raheem Sterling, James Maddison. 5th highest scoring midfielder. He's
doing really well. Sonny with his wonder goal and 12-pointer, that was particularly nice. Not only that, I mean, he could have had a couple more as well. Sissoko hitting the post on an assist off him as well.
Dele Alli should have rolled it to him for an open goal as well.
Come on. Son, again, Son I've been sitting on for like probably 6 or 7 weeks now since I played my wild card. And you know how I said that he's the player that you enjoy owning? Like when he scores, it puts a smile on your face, whether it's Spurs or not from my point of view. When he scores, I'm like, get in there, Sonny boy. Lovely. I captain Vardy. That speaks for itself. And then Jimenez. So Maddison, Robertson, Son, Jimenez and Vardy all returned. It just helped that Maddison, Son, Vardy were double returns. And so it leaves me on 68 points. Least Mousse was my transfer in.
You very nearly captained him, didn't you?
Yeah,
be honest.
I was so tempted.
So Suj put a poll out saying, I'm thinking about captaining Mousse as a differential to Vardy.
Yeah.
He said, if Mousse wins the poll vote, I'll captain him. Who won the poll vote, Suj?
Mousse.
So why didn't you captain him?
Because in the comments, when I read through the comments, people were like, I'm going to vote for Mousse because I want to see you do it, but actually you shouldn't do it. Everybody was like, Vardy. And in the end, I was like, you know what?
All the friends started
FPL
speaking
people,
up and were like, yeah, vote. Go Vardy, mate. God's
FPL people like to see the world burn was one of the comments, and I thought, you know what, you're right. Leave it on Vardy. In much the same way that Zaha's your differential, Moose was my differential, who now is yellow flagged, done and dusted. But what a weekend of football! What a weekend of football! In my opinion, top spot's tied up now.
I don't think it's finished yet.
No, but I mean, we're getting ever closer. By Christmas, it could be.
I think
Leicester lose to Liverpool, you'd probably say yes.
If Leicester obviously play in game week 18 when Liverpool have the blank, what's the difference now? 8 points between
to 8 points.
8 points. If they win if they both win this weekend, which with the fixtures you would expect, if they go to City and win, and then beat Liverpool, they're 2 points behind.
Game's on. Then I agree.
Admittedly, Liverpool will still have a game in hand, but at that point you go, no, this is not a joke. Leicester are challenging for this title.
Okay, City are out of it now.
Can't win
14 points, not a chance.
Can't win it.
I listened to 606 yesterday. I heard something fantastic. Last 11 seasons, for 8 of those seasons, the team that were top at Christmas, including the year that Leicester won the league, went on to win the league.
Except every time Liverpool's been top.
3 times. Liverpool were top at Christmas and blew it. Twice under Klopp and once under Rodgers. That's a phenomenal statistic.
The only reason that any Liverpool fan listening to this, so we'll shout out our friends like Lee and from family and Mars from the Amigos and Dan FPL Loco Lord, our correspondent. The only reason they're not sitting there thinking that this title is wrapped up is through fear that they're going to up themselves.
Yes.
That's it. 'Cause I think as good as Leicester have been, Liverpool have to beat themselves here.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It's just that stat that someone came out with was like, wow, actually just thinking about it, football is a funny old game. But if top spot's tied up, and we're pretty sure Leicester and City are going to finish in the top four, I don't see either of them dropping out as bad as City are doing right now. In my mind, Watford and Norwich are sadly not going to get out of this relegation zone. Are we talking about the first week of December saying that there's only one spot in the top four up for grabs, one spot in relegation up for grabs, and then that's it? The rest of us may as well just see out the season and have a bit of fun.
That might be how it looks now, but it will probably change.
It would be really boring if that was the way.
No, it won't. We've got this game to keep us entertained.
Yeah, which is one of the beauties about FPL, and some great games this weekend as well. I didn't really get to watch as much football as I would have liked this weekend. I missed the Brighton Wolves game because I went to watch Frozen 2 with the kids. My wife turned around after the match and she goes to me, were you bored in the film? I was like, oh, why? She goes, I kept seeing you checking the score of Brighton Wolves. And it was like,
just couldn't let it go, could you?
The first half I was enjoying 2-2, and then the whole of the second half of the movie, I didn't see a single goal go in. But look, this weekend was full of stories. Big dunk, United City, a smashing 5-0 win for you guys. There's stories everywhere, so...
I'm sure there'll be one more tonight that we will cover off in detail on Tottenham tomorrow.
If there is, I'll be grateful if there is. If we can beat
You've
Arsenal
got my
tonight.
backing tonight, mate. Go and do them.
Of course. I'm looking forward to it. Let's run down the games as we do, shall we?
Aye.
Everton 3, Chelsea 1. That's 3 out of 4 defeats for Lampard's men.
So Everton put in more tackles this weekend than they did in the previous 15 game weeks combined, I think. Yeah. I think I saw a stat knocking about on Match of Day 2 last night that it was the most tackles by any side in a Premier League game so far this season. Which makes you just ask the question of what was going on before.
I had a conversation with somebody the other day, on the weekend who was talking about why is it the first time that Everton had turned up this season? I was like, hang on a second, it isn't, because it's very similar to what they did against us. They turned up and they put in a shift.
Quality of opposition this time,
when they
though,
put in
with
a
respect.
Shift. Yeah, but I mean, effort comes first, skill comes second. If you put in a shift, they're an all right side. And they put in a shift again, and they went and won. And they gave Chelsea a very, very good game, who looked a bit suspect at the back.
A bit?
Tamori's a little bit of a...
Well, I was travelling to Spurs, so I watched the first 20 minutes while getting my hair cut. Thanks for those who noticed on the People's Poll that James is looking fresh today. And then I was kind of travelling while trying to watch it on my way to White Hart Lane. And looking at my Twitter feed at half time, the general consensus from Everton fans was fear because Chelsea had so much of the ball and it looked like
80% possession, man.
I think Everton had 27% in the first half.
In the end, there was a point. In the first half, I was looking at 80%. There was a point after 20 minutes that was at 80% to Chelsea.
All the things I were reading was it would be a matter of time for Chelsea if the game continued with the pattern it was. So as good as Everton were, there was a lot of fear from Evertonians at half time. Then the second goal comes and then Chelsea scored straight away and you think, oh, here it comes. And it didn't really. And one of the reasons it didn't was credit to Everton for their commitment. And Chelsea constantly throughout the game gave Everton massive chances. Defensively, a shambles. And this has been going on since pre-season. Ted at Rotation FPL has warned us enough times about Chelsea, and particularly in away games, in spite of that amazing run of away wins, that they have massive problems defensively. If you're a Tomori owner, my advice is to hold.
He's got to get back into that team. They've looked so much more solid when he has played.
Everton fans want Kurt Zouma back. Judging by that second goal at the weekend, I think Chelsea will be happy for him to go back. And Christensen, I just think he gets bullied in fixtures like this. I really do. I think he's a good player with time on the ball. I think he's one that he goes hiding.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, I've always considered a skinny, slight kind of centre forward. He's not had the strength, but I mean, he was the one doing a lot of the bullying, and it doesn't surprise me when you got Big Dunk Ferguson as your manager saying, "Look, just get in amongst them."
Oh, and he really did as well.
Do you think now, obviously, a lot of the talk on social was Kovac was pictured right next to the director's box.
Yep.
I don't know now what's going to happen with the managerial position. Like Dunk Ferguson's come in and done what he's done.
I get the impression that both Everton and Arsenal are going to be interviewing multiple people.
And whilst Duncan Ferguson, I won't call him Fergie, but whilst Duncan Ferguson's got the job, Big Dunk, let's call him, he can hold on to it by putting in these performances, surely.
Well, essentially what he did was he picked a sort of system of team that he would have played in when he was a player, with two attacking wide players in Walcott and Iwobi, who, despite their limitations, can obviously carry the ball, which is really important when you need to counter-attack against opposition that's better than you, to carry you up the pitch. And then they played with Calvert-Lewin up front and with Richarlison able to essentially do what he wanted. And I wonder if we're over... Just to cover Calvert-Lewin, I'd say it so often. They're always better when he plays. But I wonder if we're overlooking Richarlison a little bit.
Well...
7.8 million. They've been rubbish all season. He's now got 9 attacking returns. And he's a good differential at 6.9%.
Six in the last
we sold
8
him
as well.
From the differential team before the Leicester fixture. And he scored.
He's
just scored against Leicester, Liverpool and Chelsea.
Fixture proof in one way, if you look at it. I mean, that's 6 and 8 as well. I want to see a little bit more of Everton. I don't think I'm sold on moving across to him yet. He's still a little bit more expensive than the likes of Pulisic and Mount and all of these guys. So I'm not piling into Everton with Man United and Arsenal, but after that, they don't have a bad run from kind of game week 19 to 26. Burnley, Newcastle, they do play City in that, but then Brighton, West Ham, Newcastle, Watford, Palace. That's a solid run of 8 fixtures there where you'd expect them to pick up points. New manager bounce, definitely. I mean, they do run into a sea of red after that, but having said that, that's a good, decent 8 game run from game week, from Boxing Day all the way through to February.
I have no fear on Everton going down. I know there's obviously
neither.
They were in the bottom 3 pre-game. I have no fear about that. I think, it's a couple of wins difference and suddenly you're top half. And I think, I'm not sure if Everton will finish top half, but I don't envisage them staying in danger.
No.
They just need to get through these next couple. If it's not even really the next couple, is it? It's United away at the weekend, which is tough. But then if Everton put a low block on, United are going to struggle more than they did, say, against Spurs and City. And then, you can kind of, Arsenal at home, forget about it in terms of difficulty of fixture, right? So we've only got to get through this fixture and then they're through the other side and the fixtures look better. If Everton play against Arsenal like they played against Chelsea at the weekend, Everton will beat Arsenal. Yep.
Well, and I'll know more by tomorrow when we've got the Tottenham show. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 3. I thought Liverpool may struggle. In the end, they were just too good, and they've now shown strength in depth in Keita and Chamberlain and all of Gomez coming into the back line and stuff. Team of champions here, mate.
Training game, mate.
Team of champions.
Training game.
It's funny. Ever since Pellegrini has had this really shit run, and then the West Ham job is potentially coming up, Eddie Howe and Sean Dyche are throwing their teams down the toilet to try and get themselves sacked to pick up the job or something. Both were linked, and I say linked because anybody gets linked just by being in a headline somewhere. But ever since then, they're just not the same. I'm not saying there's any relation to the two, but
I don't want to repeat everything I said about Bournemouth on Thursday, but I said then, didn't I? I said this time. By the time we record this podcast, we might be saying, look, they're in a shitter. They're 1 point outside the relegation zone. They go to Chelsea this weekend. They have essentially a team full of injuries at the moment. And you could argue their 2 best players have both picked up suspected hamstring injuries. Certainly Nathan Aké's, I think most of us would have seen on the telly. We can all agree with that. And Callum Wilson as well. They've also got Cook out, Adam Smith out, Kelly out, Charlie Daniels out, Brooks, Stanislas, Josh King have got a team of players injured, mate.
Yeah, they're not there, but it also puts me off any Bournemouth assets right now as well. I mean, Callum Wilson's had it. Liverpool, I mean, take your pick, really. Having said that, we're not advising buying any Liverpool players because they've got to blank the game after next. So really, hold what you've got, figure out what you're going to do. You briefly flirted with getting rid of TAA if he had picked up his 5th yellow card. I know General tweeted, right, that he felt clean getting rid of him. He felt
said
dirty.
that he ditched his double defence, he felt clean. So I responded to the General by saying that I was happy to stay dirty. As soon as I see Trent was left out of the team, it was almost inevitable that the clean sheet was finally coming.
Yeah.
And once I see he come on at half time, I was
he
like,
did the maths to figure out if he's going to get 60 minutes.
No, not at all. I'd seen
he
just come on just before half time. I was like, it's an absolute certainty now. You don't even need to worry about that.
He had a few shots and crosses and creativity. He could have easily picked up an assist in that game. Easily.
The usual. Do we? I had a bit of criticism after the Spurs Bournemouth game about Tottenham being a long ball team. Are we going to aim that at Liverpool?
Yeah, why not? Trent's long balls are just fucking rockets.
Well, we look at Henderson's ball
Through
for
ball.
Chamberlain at Bournemouth and Lovren's ball for Origi against Everton, and they're the same pass. They're not long balls; they're long passes.
Through balls or channel balls or whatever you want to call them.
Where Liverpool really have a benefit at the moment, and I think Leicester as well, because Leicester can play that ball as well. Probably don't have as much quality to be playing someone with that ball over the top. It will probably come from higher up the pitch to Vardy behind, and because of Vardy's pace, they don't have to play it from that deep necessarily. And I think teams are a little bit more cautious against Leicester specifically because of Jamie Vardy. But that ball's such a weapon, and if you take City for example, they'll never use it.
Man City.
If you think of that,
they don't have do they have the players with the pace?
If you take someone like,
do teams sit deeper against them?
Take someone like Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's got a lot of power in his long passing. I'm not to compare him to say Trent, for example, but he's well capable of firing the ball over the top. Very rare will you see Sterling make. I mean, it's that run that Son and Ali make from that kind of left position to central that has worked so well on occasions for Spurs recently. Very rare you see Sterling make that run.
Yeah.
Very rare. Jesus not slow. Doesn't make that run to peel off. He just want to work through it. And I think it makes teams quite comfortable against City as it did in United's case at the weekend. So Liverpool got so many weapons. Liverpool
are doing what City did 2 years ago, where they're going to wrap up the league so bloody early and end up with such a big margin. But you know what? What's your plan on Trent? You're gonna all your Liverpool assets, just benching the 3 of them, or you're gonna come off one?
I might wildcard this weekend, which is not the best weekend to wildcard because of the fixtures in game week 18. But it might be better to do it now to plan for 19 and build up more value in between, because these Liverpool guys are going to fall in price, mate. Once this Saturday goes by and once people realise, oh, sugar, they're not playing. Particularly even more so, say if like Trent gets booked this weekend, he's going to miss the Leicester game as well.
Yeah.
Like everybody's going to bomb him out, basically. So there is a temptation that I might wildcard this Saturday. I need to think that through. It's possible that if I do wildcard this Saturday, that there'll be no Liverpool and no Manchester City players in that wildcard.
That's fascinating. You're going to have to do some work to get them all back in after a while.
Well, I probably wouldn't go back to Man City at all. Which is staggering to think when we kind of looked at the start of the season and picked the 2 teams and went
3 of each, please.
Kind of want at least 5, don't you? Really? Or at least sort of minimum 4. And we're looking at a position now to say maybe go without. I mean, you're still going to want Mane, Trent, Robertson. I would still want those 3 players. I think they're the best 3 Liverpool assets. I completely understand everybody who's looking elsewhere defensively. My take on Mane and where it becomes interesting is when we start comparing with Vardy. Because once Leicester come out of the Liverpool fixture, you look at them: West Ham away, Newcastle away, Southampton at home, Burnley away, West Ham at home, which takes you into the split in February. The week before the split in February. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, so if I'm going to captain Vardy, because we're nearly at perma-captain stage now, if I'm going to captain him every fixture in January, basically, do I want Mane there? Am I better spreading that funds and taking everything of like Son, Ali, Maddison, picking up all, because it will get me
all of those.
It will get me those extra little ones
and
in.
you can afford Rashford and Abraham or Jimenez or what have you. You've got a solid team there potentially. Look, I don't have Mane, and my midfield is De Bruyne, Maddison, Pulisic, Son, Jimenez, Vardy, and I've got enough money to turn Moussa into Rashford.
I think we can
well
discuss
balanced.
this now. Is for the first time I'm having second thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne.
Not just you. A lot of people are thinking
first
about
time.
it. A lot of people are moving from Kevin De Bruyne to Son, or did it yesterday because of the price changes that were potentially coming into play. I mean, I'm not sold on that move yet, but then it's easy for me because I'm a Son owner.
There's no doubt that when KDB goes mental, KDB will go mental. But it's not happening as much. He's had 4 double-digit hauls this season. Just the 1 since the 17 against Watford in game week 6. It's not enough at his value. And you're looking at fixtures and you're going, we've got a few more here, aren't they? Arsenal, Leicester. It's still Arsenal at the Emirates, right?
Yeah.
And then coming the other side, you think, how good are them fixtures? Wolves away, you can see it frustrating. Sheffield United at home. And then it does ease up a bit. But by which time, those fixtures there, for me on the wild card, I'd be propelling Son in for like some very good fixtures potentially.
Yeah. And on that note, talking about Son, let's talk about Spurs 5, Burnley 0. We've got Tottenham tomorrow, so we can go into a lot more detail there. Let's start with just me saying what I thought. I didn't think Son's goal was that good.
Yeah, completely agree. Mickey Mouse, wasn't it?
Well, okay, I just thought Burnley were bad. How can you have 5 guys around the player and not one of them attempt to put in a fucking challenge? Like his run, there was 2 moments of skill in there where he knocked it past the player and shimmied around another. I just look at Burnley and I'm tongue-in-cheek taking it away from Son. I'm just like, you cannot let a player run the length of the pitch, especially when so many of you get so close to the guy. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
First thing, unbelievable assist from Vertonghen.
Yeah, fantastic. It's almost, I don't know which was better, that or Dele's header for Lucas's goal.
And Kane's second goal, I really don't think Ali should be getting the assist on that either, by the way. I think it was a tackle. Yeah, Vertonghen got 2 bonus points because he won a tackle that gave Heung-min Son the ball 80 yards from goal, mate.
Yeah.
This podcast, you know what the title of today's podcast is?
I don't know.
It's called JOMO. You know what it's called? JOMO. Instead of FOMO, it's JOMO. It's the joy of missing out. Fuck my FPL team this week. Yes. I enjoyed watching Spurs on Saturday.
I thought Harry Kane's first goal was better than Son's goal.
Are you mad?
The way he hit that ball with dip and swerve required more skill than what Son did.
Suj, let me tell you right now.
Yeah.
When they're dishing out goal of the season in May, it will be Heung-min Son getting it.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's not, I don't know about it, mate. Someone's going to have to come up with something special.
Technical skill, it was sheer pace more than technical ability.
You still got to do it. How often does that goal scored?
Rarely. But most of the time, someone will put a flipping tackle in.
You ever seen Mane or Salah score a goal like that?
How can they not put a tackle in? Explain to me why Burnley are so bad right now. Because that's, 11 goals in a week? Is Sean Dyche doing an Eddie Howe?
Are you counting? Yeah, 11. Yeah, you're right. I think there's something in that. We heard a rumour, didn't we, that Sean Dyche had expressed an interest in the West Ham job. Yeah. We had heard that.
Yeah, and I really put it down to a rumour.
I would think that the time, as I said, might be right for Eddie Howe. I don't know if there's something in that. This whole thing with Pochettino has made me look at certain squads and situations differently, in the respect that I look at it and go, how can it go from so good
to
so bad? And actually, particularly in the case of Bournemouth, we've seen this coming for a while. But like with Spurs, we haven't, if that makes sense. You look at the statistics and you go, shit, do you know what? This calendar year, Bournemouth have won about 7 games. That's not really good enough.
No.
But none of us really noticed. And the amount of goals that Burnley are conceding, if we go back, they had a couple in a row, didn't they, where they played you and they won at Watford, who you might argue are 2 of the poorest attacks in the league. But then look at the 2 games before that. 3 conceded at Sheffield United, 4 at home to Chelsea. There's a pattern there in the fact that Charlie Taylor come back in and got injured, by the way. Ben Mee and James Tarkowski had proper shockers at the weekend. But the massive failing that Burnley got wrong at the weekend, little bit of sympathy that Ashley Westwood missed out through injury. So they changed from the 4-4-1-1 that they played against City, which with Hendrick playing, tried to get around Rodri, didn't work at all. Hendrick went back into centre midfield with Cork. I presume Dyche took the opinion that Danny Drinkwater was so shocking against Man City or not fit enough to play twice in a week. But Hendrick at centre midfield was a massive problem for Burnley. If you look back at even the first goal, forget anything else about the goal. The ball gets played into Son. Son's layoff to Kane is absolutely fantastic. It's 5 minutes into the game and you've got Harry Kane running at you. The midfield's been bypassed.
What, Harry Kane's goal?
Yeah, the first goal.
Yeah,
completely bypassed.
Harry Kane didn't run at them though. He took one touch.
If the two central midfielders give themselves 5 yards more defensively, particularly early in the game, that's it.
The ball doesn't go into Kane. Yeah,
it doesn't. Nothing else happens other than Kane's moving away from goal, or at least a body round him to force him left side into a wider position. Anybody who's listened to me a long time will know Harry Kane, people go, oh, greedy. 25 yards out, I don't care, just hit it. People don't give him that time anymore. No. And you've seen from the 2 goals at the weekend, if you give him time, especially on his right, good night.
The first goal I liked, like I said, I liked it more than Heung-min Son's because you look at the way he hit the ball, the dip, the swerve was technique. It's like Kevin De Bruyne's volley that he hit the other day that just crashed. That's just pure technique.
What was actually brilliant about the first goal, you're quite right, yes, technique. He actually kids the goalkeeper, even from that distance. Yep. Pope thinks he's going the other way and he closes his foot.
Anybody that's sold Pope is laughing all the way to Guaita or wherever they've bought, and anybody that's sitting on him is thinking about how do I get off Pope right now.
Yeah, that Pope to Guaita move would have been a 10-point net at the weekend.
I think Lee from FPL family is in love with Guaita right now. I think Sam's in trouble. He's got eyes on another man right now.
We'll come on to Palace in a moment. I know obviously the guys are probably, what do I do with Spurs?
Yes.
I really feel...
Do you know what?
Go on.
I think there's a lot of people, and I know the Twitter community is not FPL. I think there's a lot that have already done it. I think you're thinking, a lot of people are thinking, what should I do with Spurs? There's loads that have bought in Son and Ali, and now looking at Kane. I think there's a lot that I've already bought. They've already made their move.
You know what I'm going to say, didn't you?
Hold.
Wait.
Yeah,
I'm really out with Wolves away this weekend.
Wolves have been doing all right, playing well.
I get the feeling... I think particularly the De Bruyne to Son is particularly tempting for people who are thinking, okay, well, both got Dodge away games at the weekend.
One's going up, one's going down.
Yeah, and I want Son for that Christmas period anyway. I might not get the immediate gain. Yeah, it's gone through my mind. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but I mean, Wolves are stingy as, man. If you take away those dodgy couple of games they had, like the Chelsea game when Vallejo, that was the fellow who was playing centre-half and was so dodgy. Yeah. They've kind of eradicated all the issues. Them conceding 2 at Brighton yesterday is quite unusual. They don't have defensively sloppy moments like that often. They're a good side, Wolves. I think that's got low-scoring draw probably written all over it at Molineux on Sunday. I'll be up there, by the way. My advice would be not yet. Just note as well, it might have missed people. Serge Aurier come off injured towards the end of the game. No news yet on that, but I'd watch out for it, because also as well, if he's absent, that may mean a complete shift in the tactics that Spurs employ unless Sissoko plays right back. And before somebody asks the most ridiculous question of the season, yes, I'm aware Moussa Sissoko not only hit the post at the weekend and had one of the highest XGs at the weekend and has scored in 2 consecutive home games. He's not an FPL asset before anybody wants to go down that route. But delighted because we love Moussa.
Watford 0, Crystal Palace 0. Anybody that had Kelly in their team or had Kelly coming in because of Mane not playing or what have you, taking those 8 points all the way to the bank. Guaita's 10-pointer all the way to the bank. Defensively, they've been good all season. This is not a flash in the pan. And obviously they're playing Watford, who are garbage going forward. I suppose the story of Palace is defensively always solid. and everybody's gambled on, or not everybody, people are gambling on Zaha getting a little bit, or was it the right choice? Was it not? Don't take anything into that yellow card because that's a fucking farce. Is that going to get overturned?
We should do.
Because he sticks his leg out and trips him up.
You ain't going to get the point back, but he really should get the yellow card.
That was awful. That was awful. And I mean, yeah, Watford, I think there's just a watching brief now because we want to see what Nigel Pearson does, and I think he might whip him into shape. But
I think Palace's XG at the weekend was like 0.08 or something. It's like absurd. It's unbelievable. They didn't have a shot on target away to Watford, and that's poor. I'll give them the mitigating circumstance of they obviously worked incredibly hard in the fixture against Bournemouth defensively, and there may well have been some tired legs. I think Gary Cahill played unfit basically at centre half. It was need to get someone out there. So, look, good week for Palace. 3 clean sheets, 7 points. Doesn't help for those of us who went for Wilfried Zaha and have got Jordan Ayew coming off the bench. I think in hindsight, not calling going for Zaha a mistake because it's game 2 of 8 or 7 in my opinion, so it's fine. But diving in on them defensively was the must. And it's not too late to get in on that train. Martin Kelly's valuation is going to fly. Wouldn't be surprised. He's up to 4.3 now. Wouldn't be surprised if that hits 4.4 by the weekend. He'll be sitting in a lot of dead teams as well, Martin Kelly. He was the one pre-season more than sort of like your Lundstrom and that who really had that high ownership at 4.0. And he's solid as at the moment. I heard Joel Ward is probably mid-January at earliest.
I've had
there's
Martin
too many
Kelly
fixtures.
In my squad for a long time.
There's too many fixtures in between to be worrying about not getting him.
Yeah.
And the interesting one is at the moment, I've obviously now got 3 Palace players.
Yeah.
Kelly, Zaha, and Ayew. They're at home to Brighton on Monday night. Brighton, I've been so impressed with them when I've watched them this season. Zaha obviously plays. Kelly or Ayew.
This is the problem I've got with Kelly.
I have to go Kelly. Kelly.
I haven't played Martin Kelly at all this season. He's been sitting on my bench. I haven't got a single point off the guy. And it's now, this is the problem. Look, Rico isn't exactly the same.
You've just confirmed that they're going to get beat about 4-0 against Newcastle in game week 18,
bench,
haven't you?
Him and Rico have both been picking up tidy amounts of points sitting on my bench. A mate of mine that I had a nice Sunday roast with yesterday, we were chatting. He captained Salah, so we ate at about 12, so the Saturday games hadn't kicked off, so we didn't know Vardy captaincy had killed it yet. So he was sitting on 44 points with Salah, and he played his bench boost. I was like, what the fuck are you doing playing your bench boost? Not double game week. Because I just got tired of seeing Kelly and Rico picking up points on my bench. I thought, sod it, you know what? I'm just going to play it. I don't actually know what he did with his bench in the end. We'll have a look. He had 2 Sheffield United players, and they didn't keep a clean sheet, so it didn't go so well.
Oh, we'll come on to them in a second.
Yeah.
Watford, nothing to be seen here other than Nigel Pearson's taken over, and I think it's an interesting one to watch. They obviously go to Liverpool this weekend, so there's not much point talking about them. Palace are still going to be very much of interest. I don't think, if somebody said to me now, should I go for Zaha? I'd probably say no.
I'm with you on that as well. It's too risky, too hit and miss.
But if somebody said to me, should I sell him? I'd also say no.
No, if you bought him, we said it, you keep him till New Year's Day.
I don't. Once he gets to like the 5th blank day, do you think, Jesus Christ?
Yeah. Man City 1, Manchester United 2. Let's just get it out there before we talk about the game. That guy was a dickhead, and well done for arresting him and sorting him out and all of that stuff. No one wants any of that shit in football. Talking of shit in football, if it was any other side, it would be Pep out right now, or if anyone else, surely.
Wow.
How have they allowed themselves to be in a position with only 2 recognised strikers?
Because it wouldn't. Well, thing is, you've got Aguero and Jesus, and you're only ever going to play one of them. Are you going to have a third? It's not like Raheem Sterling can't play in that position. They played David Silva at false 9. I'm sure Bernardo could play that position as well. I'm sure they've got some bloody good kids in the academy as well.
This slump cannot be down to their defensive issues, because City have always been able to score.
Of course it is.
But they haven't scored as freely as they have in the past necessarily.
But the biggest problem, the thing with City always was, like, you couldn't break through the lines. The best you'd get with City was you'd get beyond them and know that Fernandinho was going to take you out. Yeah. That's as good as it was going to be for you in terms of breaking the lines. When we looked at them at the start of the season and all the issues they had defensively, it was still generally problems of conceding goals from near post headers was a theme that had been picked up on by a few people. Yeah, so it absolutely is all the issues defensively. It's still like, if you look at them at the weekend against United, with the ball, they didn't play badly. Like, they were patient, they kept moving the ball from side to side. I think it's credit to United, the way they defended. With the ball, City aren't an issue. Without it, they're like a bottom half side at the moment without the ball. For some reason, they just seem so much more open. And I highlight, for example, Jesse Lingard at the weekend. The positioning, Jesse Lingard's a far more intelligent player than he's given credit. Positionally, he gave them so many problems at the weekend.
Dele Alli light?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely spot on, Dele Alli light. And, technically probably moves the ball further forward than Ali with more pace, but doesn't have the attacking or finishing capability of Dele Alli. But yeah, I was watching the game and I was thinking, do you know what Dele Alli would do to these right now? And I'm thinking with Son and Lucas, I think we could be doing the same thing here. So they've got massive problems defensively. I think the goalkeeper's having a bad season. Mm-hmm. Really do. Like, even Martial's goal, I know it goes in off the post. I think he should save it.
Yeah.
I think Fernandinho's currently their best centre-half, and he would probably be, in terms of list of best centre-halves in the league, you put him about 20th. I think that's where they're at the moment. Their return of 32 points from 16 games is the sort of return I would have wanted Tottenham on at this stage. 2 points per game. Now, if City continue at 2 points a game, they will comfortably finish top 4, and they'll probably comfortably finish 3rd, but it won't be anything more than that. They cannot win this league now.
No, I agree with you. The thing is, when a team like City are in this kind of form, they lose that little bit of fear factor, don't they? Where Absolutely. You're like, you know what? They're bad at the back. Let's get at them. They might score 4 against us, but let's get at them rather than the mindset of let's keep it tight, and nick something. You're like, fuck it, let's go have a go, and then keep it tight. So, yeah.
Let me give you a nice stat. And remind you that Spurs have lost at home to Newcastle this season, drawn at home to Watford, drawn at home to Sheffield United. Played the same amount of home games as Man City. Spurs got more home points than City.
Wow. Fascinating. That is really interesting. There's a lot of interesting stats coming out now.
And the next home game's Leicester. It was interesting. Like, obviously, I was talking with Iceman and Bully on the surgery last week, and I know they mentioned it the week before when they were looking further ahead at Vardy. You can captain Jamie Vardy against City in game week 18.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be my choice, and I'm not for that game. I'm not going to feel pressured into it. But you do think if Leicester go the same and they play with 2 high wide players, like to be honest.
Or even Ian on the side.
If he's fit, they play. If I was Leicester, I'd look at that, and if they were fit, go Gray and Barnes in the wide areas. Maddison doing the positional harm damage like Lingard did.
With Tielemans in the middle.
And Vardy's pace up front. You have to be brave, and you might even be a game where you'd sacrifice Ndidi and go like Chowdhury. Sacrifice Tielemans and go Ndidi and Chowdhury just to firm it up a little bit. Tell the fullbacks to be a little bit more sensible, because Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw defensively, particularly Wan-Bissaka, were very good for United at the weekend. And you can hurt them. United cut the game. We've talked about this with Spurs in terms of the attacking 4 with a 5th player, be it quite often Aurea with the style we're playing. United cut the game into two phases, a defensive 6 and an attacking 4. Never got in a position where they had more than 4 attacking players. They let the front 4 go and play and do their damage. I thought Fred was fantastic again.
Different player, isn't he, at the moment?
Oh, my Lord. I said in the game against us, it was the best I'd seen him play. Him and McTominay were very, very good. Everybody for United played well. If they'd have been 4-0 up at half-time, City couldn't have complained. And yet, that's with City having 70-odd% of the ball. Even by the end of the game, United have still had more shots on target than City.
Yeah, with much less possession.
And the way they defended, it never got... Although they were under constant pressure, United, it never felt like... Sometimes, when Otamendi scored, you felt like, they're going to be in trouble here. But it didn't happen, They didn't really have a bad moment at all. And we've criticised Solskjaer massively and said that he's not the long-term answer for United. I'm still not sure that he is, because I think we can see the pattern here of United looking far better in these fixtures.
They've beaten City, they've beaten Tottenham, they've beaten Leicester, drawn with Arsenal, drawn with Liverpool, and they've beaten Chelsea.
Yeah,
so their record against the top six, or chucking Leicester into that as well, is phenomenal. Lost to West Ham. No, I just thought I'd chuck that in there. And they were bad against us on the day we beat them, really bad. But when Marco Silva got sacked, he was like 1 to 10. Second favourite manager to get sacked. We're talking about just over a week ago. Not even just over a week ago. 5 days ago. Second favourite to get sacked was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Well, 15 days ago, I think, with 70 minutes gone at Bramall Lane, he was nearly finished. So, look, full credit, but let's now see United blow away teams who, on paper, they should be better than. Let's see them blow away Everton on Sunday. Let's see them go to Watford and break with that same speed. They can still play a counter-attacking game away from home.
Yeah.
Let's see them do it in those fixtures as well. Just a name on City to throw out there, because I just want to see what your reaction is when I mention his name. Nicholas Otamendi.
Look, we all bought him at 5.4, saw him rise to 5.7, sold him at 5.654. What's he dropped back down to now?
He's 5 million, Nicholas Otamendi.
That is cheap. He's had a yo-yo of price, mate.
Nicholas Otamendi, he's only 3 points shy of Cole Walker's return so far this season. And I'm pretty sure he's played quite a few less games.
Yeah, but that's not really a good stat, because he's only scored 36 points all season.
No, that's true. But we know that he's an attacking threat, don't we? And as bad as they've been, do we look at if Stones is out for a while, which we don't know at the moment, should that come back onto a radar?
Let's talk about something else. This is a bit more sensible. Marcus Rashford at 8.9 million is still low ownership at 22.1. But I reckon if there's anybody, like ahead of all of the Spurs players, for example, real deal here. Real deal. I want him in my team.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm now in a position where I've got 2.2 million sitting in the bank.
Yeah.
I might go, unfortunately, I can't go Jordan Ayew to Rashford. But I might go Jesus. I'd said I'd judge it after the 3 games. And look, if he scores from De Bruyne's cross in the first half, we shouldn't forget that. De Bruyne still put one on a plate for Jesus just before half-time, which he should have scored and converted. But that move to Rashford looks obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus to Rashford. Rashford at home to Everton on the Sunday. Rashford, I think, looks the standout captaincy option in game week 18 away to Watford. There's a problem. And it's that Man City are playing Arsenal on Sunday. Do I really want to take... If Aguero's still out, do I really want to take Jesus out before playing Arsenal?
No, because they're that bad.
Well, that's part of the point, isn't it?
But it's then, difficult, but...
Everton aren't great defensively.
No, I mean, there's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. There's a very tight call.
And if I'm maybe going to possibly... I don't think I will, but if I decide to wildcard this Saturday...
Yeah.
Then I'm making that move anyway. So then it's a 1 week question. Jesus away to Arsenal or Rashford at home to Everton?
Yep.
I think I'll end up getting Rashford in this week.
I'll end up with a front line of Vardy, Jimenez and Rashford. And you know how people like to make acronyms out of their strikers. Make one out of that if you will.
The other thing that's tempting me with that idea of wildcarding this week as well is if I do make that move, Rashford, Jesus... I'll have 9 players starting at home this weekend, and they all look great fixtures like Liverpool, Leicester boys and that. Only De Bruyne away to Arsenal and Heaton away to Sheffield United.
We got to hurry up, mate. I've got a game to get to. We've got 4 more games still to chat about, and it's 50 minutes we've been talking for already.
Go.
Aston Villa 1, Leicester 4. The machine moves on. Brendan Rodgers is taking his new contract all the way to the bank. James Maddison's taken his new contract all the way to the bank. These boys are on fire.
Well done to everybody who captained Jamie Vardy this weekend. Sometimes it pays off to be boring, by the way.
Yeah. We say it every week, right? How do you pick your captain? Pick the player that you think is going to get the most points. I had a nice little fist bump of yes when I heard Jamie Vardy's first goal go in. I was driving home from lunch at the pub.
I couldn't even enjoy it, could I, as a non-captain?
No,
There's
it's
nothing
difficult.
to even enjoy.
They're blowing teams away at the moment. It's not even like it's just they're scoring so many goals. Since I was just looking back to since game week 7, they haven't scored less than 2 goals in any game. It's always 2s and 3s and 4s. Right? Yeah. I'm just looking all the way back.
But they get at you from different angles, but they've still got a
Liverpool was a 2-1. Apart from that, they've been scoring goals for fun. 16 goals for Jamie Vardy. 30-goal season ahead of him? Probably.
Well, at the moment, he's on course to be pushing towards 300 FPL points if this continues.
Fantastic.
Sensational. Do you know what? It's not even too late to buy. If you listen to what I just said about what Leicester could do to Man City tactically in game week 18, if they deploy anything, I know they'll have more of the ball than United as well. If they deploy anything similar tactically, and obviously, interestingly, from this fixture at Villa there was a movement towards this formation we saw late in the game against Everton, and they played a diamond with Iheanacho playing up front, and I think again credit to the manager because he spotted something in terms of I think attacking areas behind Target and Gilbert. One of the limitations of playing a diamond is you do cede the territory to the fullbacks. So, like Leicester won't want to play that way against Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. That said, the flip of it, and people say, yeah, you give away that territorial where they've got a lot of the ball, and in Liverpool's case, it's 2 of their best creative players. However, give that formation to a fullback, and a fullback will push on. So even if you take, I think Target and El Mohamed, who played at the weekend, Gilbert came on later, they're decent fullbacks, right? They couldn't resist the temptation.
No.
And Vardy and Iheanacho exploited the space.
Killed him.
And Maddison got into areas where Nakamba couldn't really get round him. I thought Leicester even had a couple of underperformers. I thought Tielemans looked tired to me, actually. I thought Ricardo Pereira at right back was unbelievable.
He got man of the match,
yeah, and
despite no attacking returns. Do you know what I mean? That says a lot. What's your views on Jack?
I think it was Alan Smith was doing the commentary, and he was talking about him when they went to ask him, and I was the same. I was like, give it to him. Been brilliant, so good.
Aston Villa obviously struggled because Mings had to go off early, and Engels is only just coming back from injury now. So had Mings and Engels been the starting pair defensively, you might have had a slightly different outcome. But ifs and buts might be maybes. Jack Grealish still picking up returns, still 6 million. Few people have him. A few people
Wasn't the only thing Jack Grealish picked up at the weekend.
Yellow card.
His 4th.
Ooh.
Which...
Knife edge.
Yeah. I think there's so many of us have got game week 18 with Jack Grealish at home to Southampton. Yeah, that would be enough to put me off now, I'm afraid. You go in now and then he misses that, you would be like, oh man.
Talking of Southampton, Newcastle 2, Southampton 1. Geordies must be singing Steve Bruce's name finally. Andy Carroll's picking up assists. What is going on? Have you stocked up on water and food and stuff?
No, because Almiron will never score. Actually, it was. I really enjoyed the Shelby goal because it was nice to see someone who's technically really good get on the end of a cross from Andy Carroll, which was just something that really amused me. I thought it was quite nice. Carroll essentially came on and gave Southampton some real problems here. And whatever you think of him as a footballer, like a side like Southampton can't cope with that.
No.
They're too brittle. They have not enough focus in them defensively. And do you know what? It's not essentially aerially that it's paid the price from here. But I think him being up there has caused them enough problems. I know Hassan Hutel was quite critical of the fact that Newcastle went long, but Newcastle went long at a stage when Southampton were playing very well and looked like they were going to see the game out. So, yeah, you've got to try something different, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it works. Southampton got a problem in they ain't going to have clean sheets. Even look at the games gone, 1 to Watford, 1 to Norwich. I know they won the games, but it does put a lot of pressure on you. And Danny Ings returns again, but no max bonus, only 2 bonus points.
I think it was General again that tweeted Danny Ings has found himself a new pair of hamstrings in the summer or something because he seems to be ticking along okay. Talk to me from this point of view, FPL, before we move on to the next game. Anyone from Newcastle or Southampton on your radar? You've got a wild card up your sleeve. Anyone getting into that team?
No, we spoke about Danny Ings a lot last Thursday, so I don't want to cover that again. Otherwise, no. No.
Norwich 1, Sheffield United 2.
I think you can look at like Willems and that. I think Clark might be 4.3. Lascelles is down to about 4.3. What I would say is like he might, when he's fit, he might be like 4.2 Lascelles. I'd have a lot more comfort in that. Sorry, crack on.
Norwich 1, Sheffield United 2. That video of Chris Wilder going around at the end of the game, giving it to the crowd. I just look at it and I'm like, I wish my manager had that fucking passion. I know our manager's different. You can't expect the same from Pellegrini as you get from Wilder. You can't expect the same from this player and that player. Everybody's different. But I look at that and I think, you know what? You want it. You want to win. I love it. That's real fucking passion.
I think he gave it to his players at half time as well, didn't he? And the players kind of made that known in their interviews after the game.
Yeah.
Essentially didn't play well first half, Sheffield United.
George Baldock, 15-pointer in Sky, just saying.
Well done, congratulations. Another one on 4 yellows who you should be a little bit cautious of, as is obviously Lundstrom.
Yeah.
They just got the wing backs and the 2 runners from midfield, Lundstrom and Fleck, just a bit higher second half, and that's all it needed, because then it got McGoldrick and Mousse higher up the pitch, and that's all it was. Look, it still took a Henderson's save from Cantwell, who came on for a brilliant 1-pointer from me. It was probably just about the best save I've seen in the league so far this season. Such a big hand to get that round the post. Won't get enough credit because it's not a photo camera save or something.
Yeah.
But brilliant save. Norwich obviously made changes here with Buendia coming back in for Cantwell, and it was a start in a deeper position for Vrancic, who, if that was my central midfielder doing what he did against Baldock, I'd have slung him straight off the pitch, to be honest. But just a note here on Baldock, who I know, as you've said, is in your Sky team. 7 points less than John Lundstrom now. 7. That's it.
What's his price?
4.7.
That's cheap compared to Lundstrom now. Baldock's been doing all right more recently. One thing I would say though, and it's something that you might have an opinion on around Dean Henderson, because he was my first choice replacement for Edison. They haven't kept a clean sheet in 5. In amongst that, Norwich and Newcastle, you'd expect them to try and hold out clean sheets. Wolves, Man United and Spurs, okay, tougher games, but no clean sheet in 5. Are you reading anything into that, or are you just thinking it is one of those things?
I think teams are starting to understand how they play a little bit more. Teams starting to take them seriously. Like, there's no way they're going down.
Oh, no way.
No way. They've got too much in terms of the stylistic of football that they play.
They catch a team when they're bad, then they'll batter them.
They haven't lost away from home yet.
Yeah, says a lot. Moving on to Brighton 2, Wolves 2. Like I said, I missed this to watch Anna and Elsa letting it go or whatever, fighting spirits and that. So I didn't get to watch this game, but I followed it on SofaScore, which was quite good. But Jimenez picked up an attacking return again. Keep selling him. That's all I'm saying. Keep selling him.
The amount of people that sold him last week, ungrateful so-and-sos.
I only
One
bought him
blank.
before.
I mean, admittedly, a blank against West Ham is warrant for selling any attacking talent. But what, he returned in his previous 6 or something?
3 goals plus an assist, and then he'd had a blank.
How many owners did he lose?
I'm not sure.
It's like quite a few.
184,708
Madness.
Net transfers. So obviously, if someone bought him, it's going to be even higher than that.
Don't get that.
I don't get it either.
Don't get that at all.
Look, I can understand it a little bit. Like, Raul Jimenez is 7.6 million. In that bracket, there are plenty of others. I mean, Tammy Abraham coming back. It might be the one that you have to sacrifice to get Rashford in, potentially. But he's just as likely to play as those guys. At the moment, you couldn't argue that Chelsea or Man United are playing particularly better than Wolves. They've been beating teams well. I know they didn't win at the weekend. It doesn't seem like a justifiable move or transfer to make right now away from Jimenez. I think Wolves they've got some tough fixtures, granted, but apart from that, I'm sticking with.
Maybe if you moved off Jimenez, you'd maybe want to consider Neil Maupay.
I liked his finish.
Great
Took it
goal,
early,
yeah.
Bottom corner. I
Hit it on the up,
highlights.
basically.
Yeah,
really good
finish. I mean, look, he's a goal scorer, right? He's scored goals in the lower leagues before, so he knows where the back of the net is. I liked his interview pre-game as well, where he said he needed to deliver more and he was really excited about doing more and stuff. So, yeah, 6 million, not bad. But
5.8, 1.1%.
He's dropped to 5.8 now.
1.1% ownership. 6 goals so far this season. Also averages 2 bonus points every time he scores as well. Another one like Danny Ings seems to pick him up when he does get a return.
Yeah.
Fixtures okay for Brighton. Palace away, Sheffield United at home, Spurs away, Bournemouth, Chelsea at home, Everton away, Villa at home, Bournemouth away, West Ham away, Watford, Sheffield United, Palace, Wolves. Actually a decent run, almost up until the blank. I think they've come through the worst of this period, Brighton. Obviously it's a difficult game for them on Monday, being it's a derby. Even Palace and Brighton fans don't know why it's a derby, but apparently it is. We do this every year.
Yeah. We talked to Mick about it.
Nobody knows why this is a thing, but it's a thing apparently.
Yeah.
Not a consideration for me currently, Maupay, because I just think it's worth paying a little bit extra more.
Neil, we've got a question from Bradley Lewenden. Is Neil Maupay the best striker in Why is Neil Maupay the best striker in Premier League history? I think a bit tongue in cheek there.
Because he lives halfway up the M62 or something. Who knows?
He did okay at the weekend. I think a good game from what I hear, 2-2, especially the first half. Open football,
yeah, enjoyable.
End-to-end.
Like
you'd expect it from 2 footballing teams like that.
Every time I've watched, been able to sit down and watch Brighton this season, I've enjoyed them, except for when they give my own team a hiding, and actually I can take some sort of respect from that. In any case, I obviously thought they were great at Arsenal on Thursday night. Had to change the system here with Connolly not playing, and it's interesting they flood. I spoke about it a little bit on Thursday, but they flood areas between the lines with the likes of Moy and Gross, and even Proper moving in because I'm right of a midfield three. Pick up some really interesting positions with the ball. I knew once Ben Chilwell had started for Leicester, because he was a doubt, I absolutely knew it was a certainty that Dale Stephens would get a return sitting as third sub, because I just had that sort of week. Brilliant ball for Maupay's goal. I think a draw was about right overall. Yeah. I think Wolves were in a position before Brighton equalised. They looked like they were going to take the game away from Brighton and didn't. Jota finally with some returns. Good week for the dead team this week. Jota, Vardy, Salah captain.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. I hadn't seen the score. What is it, about 60? Should be even more than that.
Dead
maybe.
Team got about that this week.
Yeah, decent, not bad at all.
It's nearly level with me again.
Should we wrap this up with a few Twitter questions? Let's do a few.
Let's do that.
And then we'll need to edit this and get it out. And I'm going to jump in the motor and get down to
pick a couple of bits that
London
we haven't
Stadium. Covered. This one's interesting from Amir Ajban. He says he hope it's not too late. You made it into the show, mate. He's going to get rid of Aubameyang this week. Kane or Rashford? If you had to pick one of the two.
Spy. This week, Rashford all day long.
I really feel like the thing with Kane that are looking at tempts me is I don't think in the history of FPL there's ever been an opportunity to buy Harry Kane at like 10.9 million coming into form.
Yes, that's absolutely true. But again, you look at Vardy's price, the fact that he's going to be an auto captain almost, Rashford, Abraham. One of the things that does tempt me to go Kane, I'm kind of looking, if I wildcard this week, I might go Vardy, Kane, Rashford. Looking at it and going, yep, Rashford 18, Kane captain the Boxing Day, and then possibly the 28th against you as well, because I did say to you off camera earlier, because Suj mentioned the idea of triple captain in Vardy against West Ham, which is on the 28th of December.
Correct.
What game
5:30.
Is that game 19 or 20? Game week 20.
We're live streaming that day, just for anybody that's interested.
We are at 12:30 p.m. But obviously, Leicester play Liverpool at 8 o'clock on the 26th and then 5:30 p.m. away to West Ham on the 28th.
It's quite tight.
Yeah.
It is a tight turnaround. It's a fair point.
It's enough to make you want to go, I'm not sure I want to triple captain him. Whereas Kane with a 12:30 kickoff at home to Brighton and then a 5:30 away to Norwich, from a captaincy point of view, that might be more sensible for that one. And then you go back to Vardy for sort of the New Year's Day fixtures. So, yes, I can see why people would want to go to Kane. This weekend, Rashford. We're playing Wolves Sunday. I think they're one of the best defensive sides in the league.
They're really good. They press so well. He's not going to get a lot of space. I can guarantee you he's not going to get the space he got for the first shot.
Well, what they do as well, Wolves, it's a little bit unconventional to others, is that don't just play a back three. Like, whenever one of the most satisfying things I find when I spend a couple of minutes on SofaScore looking at average positions, it always really fascinates me when I look at Wolves. There's always good spacing behind the players. Like Cody gives himself a couple of extra yards defensively, which he doesn't need to do against Kane because of the pace is not there. But he might do anyway because of that ball over the top again, right? So, no, I'm not expecting Spurs to get him behind against Wolves.
This is an interesting one from Tottenham Hotspur US. Spurs US. I don't know if it's a supporters club or something over there. G'day. No, that's Australia. Have a nice day. That's what I meant to say. Thoughts about David Martin. Considering bringing him on for Stecklenburg and playing my bench boost this week with West Ham.
David Martin.
Yeah.
I said David Martin.
Having a playing goalkeeper at 4 million is not a good reason to play your bench boost. And especially if it's a West Ham goalkeeper against an informed Danny Ings away at Southampton. For me, it doesn't make sense at all. I can see why, if you're wildcarding now and you've got 4 million for your second keeper, David Martin's the only one who's playing right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ahead of McGovern or any of the others, he's definitely the one. But that doesn't then automatically imply play your bench boost as well, because that would be mad things.
Yeah, you'll get a few more fixtures out of Martin before Flappy's back, I think, but start him. Wow, I mean, you'd have to have serious concerns about your other keeper.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of questions around going without City now. What are you?
Well, I've mentioned it. I think it's a possibility.
It is going to hurt someone at some point, right?
Of course, you're going to get trends that are changing that, aren't you? Absolutely. I think, the minute that Laporte is back, you might see a completely different animal from Man City. But I can't see them making returns back on Liverpool. And I think it will get to the stage where Champions League is going to become the be-all and end-all of their season. In theory, they could still win a treble this season, right? Champions League and both domestic cups. It's not out the question. They've got Oxford away in the League Cup quarterfinal. He might even take the route that he can't afford to go trophyless. So if they end up with, say, United are still in that, aren't they? If it's City against United in the semi-finals, he might even decide he's got to go full strength in those two semi-finals. There's a possibility. If they get to that point and they're 17, 18 points off Liverpool, having played a game more as well, he might as well.
Yeah.
They're not going to not finish top four.
Let's end with a very interesting question coming in from Morpheus Fire. And I quite like this one because of our double Liverpool defence dilemmas and debates that we've been having all season, which started as triple Liverpool defence. Let's not forget. The lowest clean sheet total for title winners in the last 8 years is 13. It's Manchester United, 2012-13, so quite a while ago. Liverpool have 3. Given that they'll win the title, is 10 potential clean sheets in 22 games now enough to go back for 3 Liverpool defence? What he's saying statistically is that they're going to keep a lot more clean sheets, or they'll end up with the lowest number of clean sheets for a title-winning side ever.
I think you'll naturally find the closer they get, the more defensive they'll be. It's been so long. Even though it will look like they're miles clear, they will be conscious of knowing that suddenly you just have one slip up, and mentally, Liverpool fans will know slip up, right? It just mentally, it will get in your head. So look, if they win at the King Power on Boxing Day, forget it. We're finished.
Yep.
But Morpheus is saying what, 10 in 22?
10 in 22. There's 22 games left this season.
And
for them to match United, who had the worst defensive record, they'd keep 10 more.
To answer the question, they'll keep more clean sheets than 10.
Yeah. So then the double Liverpool defensive hold is
this is gambler's
really
fallacy
sensible.
again.
Chasing.
As Tom Cantor would tell me. It's gambler's fallacy. Yeah, I get that, Tom. It's all good. Yeah, they will. They'll keep more than a clean sheet every other game between now and the end of the season.
Yes. Let us wrap up by talking about that guy. What's his name? Tom Cantwell? Todd Cantwell's cousin, or is he? Tom Cantwell, who got the assist.
I was giving you the segue there of the assist.
Friday meetup. This Friday, December the 13th. Marylebone in London, the Marylebone Sports Bar and Grill, I think it's called, from 7 o'clock. I don't even know what time it is, but I'm making that up. But 7 seems a good time to start drinking. 7 p.m. We'll be there. It's my co-host's birthday. That would be James Linden from PlanetFPL Pod on Twitter. So he'll be drunk. We'll be there. Christmas T-shirts and all. Ready to rock and roll. Please do come and join us because I think it'll be a really good meetup. I reckon there'll be a good 50, 60 people there.
Can I tell you now?
Yes.
There'll be more.
You reckon? I know Lee and Sam are going to be there. Tom and crew are going to be there. Is General coming down? Possibly, maybe.
I think he might be.
General may be coming down. There's going to be plenty.
Is Andy over as well?
I
think he might be.
Think so. If he is, then I'm looking forward to it even more.
I'm telling you now, there'll be 100 people there.
Fuck all that. You need to believe this. The one and only Manchild is coming. Manchild is coming to the meetup.
I've got a challenge.
Manchild's phone's going to be going round everybody where he's going to be like, sort my team out.
I've got a challenge for anybody listening to this podcast.
Yes.
Have a listen back and count the swear words between me and Suj on this podcast.
There's not been that many, is there?
From me, no.
I've dropped a few. There we go. So do join us at the meetup this Friday at the Marylebone Sports Bar and Grill because it'll be a really nice way to end the year, calendar year that is. Have a few drinks, chat a bit of football, but more than anything, have a bit of fun. And that'll be fantastic. We'll be back at you tomorrow with Tottenham. Weekly show where we look at Tottenham and Spurs. A little bit more detail on Mourinho's Spurs. I'll be really fascinated. I've got a question for you for tomorrow.
Ask me now.
No, but you have to answer it tomorrow because it's a long question. Could Poch's team have done to Burnley what Mourinho's team did at the weekend? And I'll be fascinated to know what the differences or similarities have been. I'm going to the London Stadium now to watch West Ham Arsenal, so hopefully I'll be coming back at you with a 3-0 win to give you a rundown of how bad Arsenal are.
3-0, steady on.
Well, you've got to be optimistic. We've got Clash of the Correspondents this week, even more Arsenal, which will be, even more West Ham Southampton this week. We've got FPL Gaffer and FPL Addicts 123 coming on, Chris and Ali, and Final Plan. And Sky FF as well. Sky, I'm doing all right, 62 points. Haven't had a rank rise, but 62 points.
I don't even know what I've got Sky this week at the moment. I know the Sky listeners have just gone.
James is going to München.
I will be, reporting some stuff from München on Wednesday. I will be in the Allianz Arena. So keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll have some stuff coming out from Munich and that. I know we've not covered many questions in this podcast as well, so I will try and we'll do a little more get back to everybody during the course
maybe on the final
week.
Plan, we'll try and make it a little longer with a few more questions. We'll see how we get on.
Cool.
Anything else to add?
I don't know. Is that breaking news on something?
This is Russia have been banned from everything for smoking weed or something. They're doing something dodgy, smoking weed or something. So Russia have been banned from all sports. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man.
Do svidania.
The Fantasy Football Show.